What's up, beautiful people? My name is Derek Standifer, aka Ayana's daddy, aka Derek Jr.'s papa, aka my parents' son. And I have the honor, the privilege, and the pleasure of having Dr. Jenelle Robinson with us on Solve It Sunday. Y'all welcome Dr. Robinson in. Dr.
Thank
Robinson, how you
you.
doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm
Future Dr. Standifer.
speaking into
Future
it.
Dr. Standifer.
I receive it. I accept it. Thank you for the
Yes, sir.
smile. Thank you for the smile, and thank you for agreeing to do the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before we get started, can we get some background information about who you are, what you do, why you do it, where you get the inspiration from? Can we get a little brief background about what you do?
Okay. A few things. So I'm a professor. I'm an associate professor of nutrition at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in the College of Agriculture and Food Sciences. Right.
Yeah.
And so as a nutrition instructor, I'm actually a little different than most other scientists in my area. I'm more of a social scientist. And
Hmm.
so a lot of the research that I do looks at health disparities, looks at Black women and how they see their bodies. But I also look at how poetry, how the performing arts, how these different methods can be used or can be connected with nutrition principles to help people become more aware, more knowledgeable, as well as eventually change their behavior to healthier eating practices. And so I'm a poet. I've got several spoken word poetry CDs. I've got a poetry book out as well. And so I try to combine or marry or consummate the poetry aspect of me and then the scientist part of me, the two things that I love the most, and use those for what I do at work as well as what I do for pleasure. But it's something I'm very passionate about, and that is poetry as well as nutrition. So that's my background. I'm originally from Little Rock, Arkansas,
Hello.
and Florida is actually the fifth state that I've lived in. And I came to Florida to work at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University because I had a passion for empowering young people of color. And that is exactly what I believe I, as well as other professors, do at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, we accept you here in Tallahassee. I have a saying that Tallahassee is like fertile soil, and
Okay.
Tallahassee and come across the right people, you can sprout and nurture yourself and grow and develop into a beautiful blossoming tree. So thank you for
Say
your.
that.
And I've had the pleasure of doing a show with you, I Writers Therapy, and it was an amazing
Mhm.
show, amazing turnout. You have a lot of supporters, so that's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. So we're going to get into solving your life Rubik's Cube. And step one
Okay.
is to believe. So currently, what is the belief? What are the goals, the dreams, and the aspirations that you're currently pursuing right now?
Okay, goals, aspirations. So right now, one of the biggest goals that I am pursuing is trying to finish a book. It's been years of me working on this book. I did a video blog, let's see, maybe about 4 years ago called Am I Fat? And so I'm kind of playing around with it being this book called Am I Fat, where we look at body image, where we look at healthy eating, where we look at some of the issues when it comes to nutrition, eating our bodies, especially for Black women. So a lot of my research that I've done surrounds how Black women see their bodies, surrounds how Black women eat, why we eat, what eating means for us. And so that would be a lot of the highlights in the book would be focused, I think, focused on Black women, because I think a lot of the literature that you see that talks about nutrition, that talks about dieting, we don't really have anything specifically for us, anything specifically that talks to us. And so that would be my goal. One of my biggest goals is to finish this book by the end of the year and have something that I can share with like-minded sisters who want to get it. I say want to get it right, but I don't know that there's a right and a wrong, but who want to make healthier decisions and also see their bodies in positive ways that are not influenced strictly by what they see in the media. So that's one of my big goals. Overcoming anxiety is another huge goal, or overcoming, or I say overcoming, mastering my management of anxiety. I've been working with future Dr. Gian Jones. That's a huge goal of mine. And I know for some people, they always look outside for goals. I'm trying to look internally for goals as well. And so that's an internal goal. And that is to try to find a little bit more stability, a little bit more peace when it comes to dealing with issues with anxiety. So goals.
I want to thank you for being transparent about anxiety. I never would have expected that you would have an issue with anxiety. As a public speaker, I feel more comfortable speaking in front of people than I am having one-on-one conversations. It's weird. It's a weird kind of dichotomy where one-on-one conversations scare me. Big crowds, I feel comfortable. It is so weird how that is. And to see you facing, similar challenges, that's amazing to kind of be just kind of share with us. So I appreciate that. All
right. Yeah. Same struggle for me. So
we have the goal. The next question is, how do you strengthen that belief? How do you build your belief? How do you develop the belief where you can believe in yourself and you have the confidence to pursue your book and to pursue the goals and the dreams and the aspirations that you have laid out?
Accountability, constant accountability. And so I know for some people, they say, don't tell people your dreams, because, some people will minimize your dreams. Some people will bring negativity to your dreams. But I think that is only correct when you are not telling the right people. And so I tell people who are going to keep me accountable. I tell people who are going to say, hey, what did you work on this week? Hey, did you finish chapter 2 this week? Hey, what are you doing to work on your goals this week? So constantly having people in my corner that keep me accountable, I think is one of the biggest things that helps me to move forward in my goals. And that's friends, that's family, that's, higher professionals that are going to keep me accountable, because future Dr. Standifer, if I'm not held accountable, I'm not going to do it, more than likely, or it's going to be a long time before I actually do it. I think you froze on my side.
We have some technical difficulties. We're back.
There you are. I was like, I think you froze. I don't know if it's me or you. Is it me? Is it you?
That's what happened when you had 2G network. My bad. Yeah. So, okay. So accountability. I'm a big believer in having accountability partners. Somebody that we have a common friend, Gian Jones. That's my accountability partner, and I'm also a part of a mastermind group. I speak highly of this mastermind group. We hold ourselves accountable to our goals and our dreams and our aspirations. And it's a beautiful. There's a quote: "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you need some accountability partners to help you get there." So,
right.
Yeah. All right. So, after we believe in ourselves, step number 2 of solving the Rubik's Cube, step number 2 of solving life is to solve your cross. Now, solving your cross means to identify your why, your reasons for accomplishing your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. So, what are the reasons? What are the whys? Who are the people that you want to make proud? If there are any dragons that you need to slay, people who didn't believe in you, some major life goals that you just want to accomplish that are bigger than you. So, what are your reasons?
I think my biggest why is I'm led by purpose. So I remember all the jobs that I had prior to my current job. I remember all the things that I did prior to. And I remember when I got my PhD and I started teaching and I started doing research on what I loved. I remember saying, I am finally doing exactly what I am supposed to be doing. I'm doing exactly what, like I could, how people say, oh, I would do it for free. Wouldn't do it quite for free because I gotta pay bills, but still, when it comes to speaking, when it comes to empowering others, I mean, whether I do it at the university or anywhere else, it's just natural for me. That's something that I'm passionate about, and especially empowering young people, young minorities, especially young Black women. That's something that's, yeah, that's part of my passion. It's part of my purpose because I was going to say I was once a young Black woman. I am a young Black woman, but I was once a younger Black woman who had all types of body image issues, all types of health issues, all types of issues in the mind, and still do struggle with those things. I just think I'm a little further along and I can pass a little bit more wisdom to the next generation. So my why is the next generation. The why is there are people that came before me that have trained me, that have poured into me. I'm not going to waste anything that they poured into me. I'm not going to waste any money that they've spent on me, any time, any of their mental and emotional, what they have exposed or what they have let out mentally and emotionally to get me to this place. I'm not going to waste any of that. I appreciate it. I appreciate what my ancestors did. I appreciate what my parents did. And so for me, part of my why as well is I have to keep it going. And I tell people that as well when they talk about being effective right now with everything going on with, whether coronavirus, with the racial inequality issues, you're not going to finish the work. And you have to be able to say, I can do as much as I can and pour into the next generation so they can continue the work. You're not going to finish it. And so, our ancestors did not finish the work. If they did, we wouldn't still be in the situation that we're in. So our goal is to take what they did, build on it, pour into the next generation, and they go forward in the same vein. And so that's my why. My why is my past and my future. That's my why.
Come on, Doc. Come on, Doc. That's a beautiful response. I have a lot of people who've invested in me, and they always told me, look, you can't pay me back, but pay it forward. Pay it forward to the next generation. And, as a people, as Black people, as melanated and African people, we need to pass that baton forward to the future generation. So we're not starting over. We're making progress as the generations pass. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. In addition, I'm so grateful for you. But when I was teaching high school history, and I got tired of my Black students telling me what they can't do. So we came up with this slogan: I am African, not African. And just having that confidence is a world of difference. So thank you for that response. Thank you for that. So after you solve your cross and after you believe in yourself, that brings us to step number 3 of solving the Rubik's Cube and of solving life. And step number 3 is to fill in your corners. So filling in your corners is immersing yourself in a positive environment. So who are the people in your circle that push you and motivate you to be the best version of Dr. Jenelle Robinson? How do you feed your spirit? How do you feed your mental? What do you listen to? Or what kind of work environment do you thrive best in? So all of that.
Loaded. Okay. You might have to remind me because as soon as you say it, I forget it. Okay. So people that I surround myself with that empower me, my parents, of course, have poured a lot into me and empowered me. The friends that I have in Tallahassee, future Dr. Gian Jones has done a lot of empowerment. Dr. Sharon Davis has done a lot of empowerment. Other friends that I have here have poured into me as well. Some of my colleagues at work have poured into me. My mentees have poured into me. So I think even when you have people that you are pouring into, you are learning how to be a mentor. You don't know how to be a mentor until you till you mentor or have mentees. And so those are the people that are influencing me. Those are the people that are making a difference. I have best friends that don't live in Tallahassee. I have a friend, Shantae, that's in Dallas, Texas, and she keeps me accountable. She pours into me. She tells me when I'm wrong, and she tells me when I'm really, really right. And I appreciate that. I have a friend in Puerto Rico, Dr. Joy Miller. She's phenomenal. She was in Tallahassee previously. So I would say all of those people are part of my tribe. I probably forgot some others. It's a lot of people in Arkansas. I've got a friend, Celeste. So a lot of friends I have in different areas, actually. And I hate that I named people because now people are, you didn't name me, but there are a lot of people who
off this by mistake. Yeah.
Charge it to my head, not my heart. That's what they used to say in the Baptist church. So, but there are a lot of people that have poured into me. What do I listen to, read? Right now, I'm reading for probably the third or fourth time. I'm reading The Power of Now.
Come on.
And I'm reading that. And what do I listen to? A variety of things. I listen to R&B. I listen to some gospel. I listen to some jazz. I love listening to just the piano. I used to take piano lessons, so I do know how to play it just a really little teeny bit. But I love just listening to instrumental music just by itself. I love doing that. It's very calming for my mind. So that's the music. That's one of the biggest things I'm reading. I'm reading actually multiple books, but what I see is when I read too many things at the same time, especially if they have conflicting views, it's a little harder for me. So I'm trying to do like one thing at a time, because I tried to start the book. Um, I think it was called Your Subconscious Mind, that Gian Jones had recommended to me. And I'm looking at the terms, and I'm like, okay, just stick with one and finish it, and then go to the other to build upon it. That way you don't feel like you're in conflict while you're reading both of them at the same time. But and I'm also I will say I'm reading something that's it's A God of the Oppressed by Dr. James Conan. So that's been really good for me. So when you asked about what's feeding my spirit as well, I am transitioning some of my thought processes concerning religion, concerning spirituality, and concerning how I see God. And so I'm just try to figure some things out as I navigate that. But I do think I'm still looking at scriptures, still praying, and still looking at other materials that are inspirational and have some of the same themes, and carry the same spirit, to help me move forward in what it is I'm called to do. So,
Dope,
did I
dope,
answer
dope.
all your questions for that
Uh,
one?
I think you got it. I think you hit it on the nail.
Okay.
Dr. Warford, he was a part of Outriders Therapy as well, Dr. John Warford. And
Yes.
he didn't give me the book, The Power of Now, but he did give me the audio tapes. Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was at a low space, and he gave them to me at the right time. And it's crazy how you just like you're on your third time reading it, and it is very applicable at certain spirits and certain
It
times.
is.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Dope, dope, dope. So step 4 of solving the Rubik's Cube. Step 4 of solving life is to take it to the next level. Now, taking it to the next level is solving the second row of your Rubik's Cube. It's taking it to the next level. So how do you grow? How do you get better? How do you develop yourself?
How do I grow, get better, develop myself? Reading,
Mm,
um, talking to those who've been there and done that. So getting wisdom from those that are older than me. I like to sit and listen. My dad had stories for days.
mm,
Listening to his stories, he'll say, a lot of what I go through, he'll say, I was there, or I did the same thing, or I was the first to do something like that as well. So growth for me is listening to the right people who are nurturing my soul and not stripping my soul. Um, Things that help me grow, like, I think, just to reiterate, is pouring into the next generation. I've
mm.
learned a lot about myself. I know a lot of people, when they think about having mentees, they think more about the skill set that they have to have in order to deal with, or the emotional energy, but you are actually learning, and the mentees are actually pouring into you. It's a two-way street. And so I think that, and it's just like children. I don't have any children, but I can imagine that what I feel when I see my mentees grow. I have a one mentee,
Come
help
on.
her go forward to get her master's degree, and then now she's going to get her PhD. And so, did you freeze? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm deeply sorry. I don't know what's going on today.
It's okay. It's all right. Uh-oh. Froze again. Mm-mm.
Yeah, from the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul, I apologize. I don't know what's going on.
It's okay.
All right. All right. So
It's
yeah. Sometimes we just got to keep pushing. Um, and that brings us to the fifth and the final step of solving the Rubik's cube. Well, we got somebody said they love your hair. Um,
Thank you.
Now this brings us to the Acacia Pen said, I love your hair. So this is the fifth and the final step of solving the Rubik's Cube. Fifth and the final step of solving the Rubik's Cube is seeing the bigger picture, keeping your commitment to your commitments. Sometimes we go through trials and tribulations. We've been going through trials and tribulations during this interview, but you have to keep pushing and see the light at the end of the tunnel. So if you can share, what are some trials and some tribulations that you've endured that have taught you, that you learned from, and that you look back on those experiences and you're like, I'm grateful for that experience?
I would say several of the jobs that I had prior to being in the current one were tribulation for me in certain areas. I'll say that just because again, I wasn't necessarily doing what I totally felt like I was called to do. It took a minute to get here. Even when I worked on my master's degree, I struggled. It was a trials and tribulations with that. Overcame and graduated there. When I worked on my PhD, and I share this story with people all the time. When it was time for me to defend and to talk about my proposal, not defend, just to talk about my proposal in my comp exams, I sat in front of my major professor, my committee, and explained what I wanted to do. They read my paper and they basically gave me constructive criticism, which for me sounded like criticism for 2 hours straight. And I cried. I boohooed and cried. And I told them, I don't think I'm cut out for this. I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this. And I was considering quitting the program and finding something else. I was told my proposal looked more like a master's level proposal than a PhD, and I was just devastated. And I was really close to quitting. And after that, I decided, nope. I don't know if it was different people that were in my ear, or I've always had a lot of resilience on the inside of me. And that's part of my story when it comes to weight loss and health and whatnot. But I've always had resilience. I've not had to have a whole lot of external, though it's helpful, but had the resilience. And I was like, you know what? And I redid my entire proposal. I changed the whole proposal. It fit more to what I wanted to do. At the time, I was living in Oklahoma, and the program was at Mississippi State in Mississippi, and I was living in Oklahoma. So I did not have the luxury of being able to work one-on-one with my committee members and talking to them constantly. So I started buying books on writing literature reviews. Since it seems I was not the greatest writer, I was buying books. I was deep in the literature. I was looking to see what people had done before, some things that I never really was taught to do because my master's was a non-thesis. So I didn't know how to write. I just knew how to creatively write. I was a poet, so I know how to write poetry, but to write academically, a thesis, a dissertation, I didn't know what I was doing. So I literally spent probably the next 6 months or so just learning how to write by myself and working with the committee to see, is this right? Did I do this right? And the next time that I submitted the proposal to them of what I wanted to do, it was like, this looks like a PhD proposal now. Yeah. And I was a lot more confident. I think I had close to 300 references in my proposal, but I was a lot more confident. Even when I defended, you couldn't tell me nothing. And that's what I tell people. Once you finish your PhD, like if it's not hard, if you're not crying right now, future Dr. Standifer, if you're not like, I'm ready to quit, then you ain't doing no PhD. It's not real. It's not real. Not real. So, I worked hard for that. So that's probably one of the biggest trials and tribulations that I had to overcome. The death of my brother is probably another one that I'm still overcoming. This issue with anxiety is one that I'm, consistently trying to overcome. And so I think I have a whole lot of coping mechanisms in trying to overcome all of these things. Even as a professor, I remember one of my committee members said when I was crying and saying I wasn't sure she said, if you can't do this, then you don't want to be no college professor, because stuff is constantly going to be peer reviewed. People are constantly going to be telling you your stuff is trash. You're going to get rejected by all types of journals. So if you can't take this, you definitely wouldn't be able to take that. And that was true. There have been grant proposals. I've submitted, so many articles. And so it's like, if you can't develop tough skin then, so that trial, that tribulation prepared me for now. It prepared me to be able to accept rejection and keep it moving and keep trying. And so that was one of the big ones. And like I said, the anxiety, working with a coach, getting coping mechanisms to do different things that I need to do. All of those things have made a difference.
I'm grateful for that writing tip. I turn in some paper sometimes and I get it back in this nothing but red ink. And I'm like, paper is bleeding. And when I fix the corrections and I turn it back in, it comes back with nothing but red ink. I'm like, listen. I don't want to keep, I don't want to. It is one of those feelings that you just gotta, use that, build right on tough skin. You can't be soft, and it's not supposed to be an easy process. It's supposed to be one of those things that push you past what you think your limits are. And
right. I'm sure you know your stuff, because at the end of the day, they know the people, once you get your PhD, they know the people that will be your peers that will be critiquing you. So they know that. And so they're just trying to make sure that you know what you're doing when you get out. And it was hard for me when I was in the program to see that, because I thought, I know how to write. I know what I'm doing. This is great. This is phenomenal. Like, I've read this. Are you reading the same thing that I'm reading? And they were like, no, it's not. No, there's a lot of work you need to do here. And when I go back and look at it, now I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I completely see what you saw now. I see it now. So.
And as a poet, I get that, we have this creative writing. I want to use simile and metaphor so bad in my academic writing. This is not the time. Simile is not the time for metaphor. So,
but I still ended up doing what I wanted to do. So that's what I said. I said, I've told others a lot of times you write the way you need to write here. And then once I got in, I'm even working right now with poets on a nutrition education curriculum that's poetry based. So still getting to do what I want to do. I just had to get through a few things to get to that place. So
we got Kaisha Penn. She said she just graduated from Howard Law School. Congratulations on that. I had the same issue writing in the professional school. That professional writing process was like learning a new language. So, hey, you got to push yourself and you got to continue to grow, continue to get better. And you can't be afraid of their process. The great philosopher, J. Cole, he says that it is beauty in the struggle. So, yeah, learn to appreciate that struggle. All right. So, Dr. Jenelle, we have solved our Rubik's Cube. We went through your 5 steps of solving the Rubik's Cube. Now, there's a bonus step, though. The bonus step of solving the Rubik's Cube, the bonus step of solving life is to not take the stickers off. And if you've seen somebody try to solve the Rubik's Cube, you've seen people try to take the stickers off the Rubik's Cube and solve it. Now, taking the stickers off is a metaphor for not taking shortcuts in life. So in your personal journey, have you taken the shortcuts? What are the ramifications of finding shortcuts? What are the shortcuts you could have avoided? Any tips, any wisdom that you can share about avoiding the shortcuts on this journey?
Honestly, I can't think of many shortcuts. I have always taken the longest way it takes to get everywhere. So, honestly, when I graduated from high school, I went to college and I majored in nutrition. But a lot of the science curriculum, I felt like it was too much, so I changed my major. I changed my major like 3 times. I ended up graduating with a degree in health education. I went to work for the Arkansas Department of Health for 3 years. And while I was there, I was like, I still feel this passion for nutrition. So I went back to get the degree in nutrition. I went to go get my master's degree in nutrition. And once I got my master's degree in nutrition, I left after that and I went right back to a job in health education. I worked at the Columbus Air Force Base as a health education program manager, and that was in Mississippi. And while I was there, I was like, still think I'm supposed to be in nutrition. So right down the street was Mississippi State University. Got a job there working full time, which paid for a majority of my PhD while I was there getting a PhD in nutrition. I got that PhD in nutrition, Derek. And do you know what happened after I got that PhD in nutrition? My first job was at West Virginia State University, where I was a health science professor. Still not a nutrition professor. Still wasn't a nutrition professor. So I was a health science professor. Worked there for a few years to then come to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, where I'm an associate professor of nutrition. And so I tell people, I could have stayed in school and got that degree in nutrition and then, went straight on to get my master's in nutrition instead of working, and then went straight to get my PhD. And I could have had my PhD, 4 or 5 years earlier if I took, if I had went that route. But instead, I went all over the place. But what I got during the process that a lot of people don't get is experience. A lot of people go from bachelor's to master's to PhD, and they're talking things that they have never experienced and things that they have never done. And for me, I've experienced it. I've done it. I've done the programming. I've done the work. I know I've worked with the people, so I know what it should look like when I'm designing it, because I've done it before. So shortcuts, haven't done a lot of those. My personality type is people always like, you doing too much. It doesn't take off that. You're doing way too much. So.
Yeah, I saw a picture. It was saying, when we have goals, we have our goals, envision them as a straight destination, like it's a one line to get to our destination. Then on the other side it says God's plan, and God have you going through the deepest of valleys, over the highest of mountains, and all of. And like you say, you gain that experience. My personal journey, I came to FAMU in 2009, and I flunked out of FAM and went to Georgia State and flunked out of Georgia State. And finally, I came back in 2014 and 2015, and I'm currently in this PhD program now. But looking back on it in hindsight, I would never change the experiences. I greatly appreciate the journey. I greatly appreciate who I learned to become in myself, the skill set that I had developed. So yeah. Dr. Robinson, it has been truly an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to interview you and figure out how you have learned to solve the twists and turns of your life. Now, this is the conclusion of our interview. Do you have any last words that you would like to embark on the people? When we got people of your caliber, of your stature, y'all got to take advantage. Take advantage. Take advantage while y'all got them.
Well, I will say thank you so very much for inviting me. I'm definitely honored. I think the world of you. I think you are very talented, very gifted. You're definitely a verbal assassin. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on. I do have stories. I'm a storyteller as well as a poet. And any initiatives that I have, they will be put on my Facebook page or my Instagram page, which is at Dr. Jenelle Nicole. I'm also a writer at medium.com. So I've got articles on medium.com. So if you go there and follow me and subscribe, you should see the stories that I have posted there. But even if you're interested in the book that should come out by the end of this year, I hope if you follow me, you'll be able to have access to information about that. But again, I thank you so much, Derek, for the opportunity and for the privilege to be even connected to someone of your caliber, sir. Appreciate you.
I receive it. Yeah. It's a beautiful blessing to run with eagles. When you find sharp people, you keep them in your circle so they can sharpen you. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, he says that if you are the smartest person in your group, you need to find you a new group. So I'm seeking smarter people than me. So thank you for that blessing. All right, good ma'am. Again, from the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul, thank you. Be great like the lake. Be blessed like a sneeze.
All right.
It will come out. John said it'll come out. You will complete it. Jenelle logged off. Camille Lewis, thank you for signing in with us. This was great. Thank y'all. The hip hop scholar Gian Jones said that came from Talib Kweli. We greatly appreciate the interactions from you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in with Dr. Jenelle Robinson with our Solve It Sundays. Peace. Damn, bro.